That's true.
Now we're on.
We are now live. Good evening, Plastow, and welcome to the January 30th, 2025 edition of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Dee, would you call the roll?
Did you notice we have volume in here?
Pardon me?
We have volume in here.
I heard that, yeah.
Peter Belo,
I am here.
Jim Unger,
Here.
Jonathan Gifford is excused, Michael Murray,
Here.
Jim O'Brien.
Present.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Love small towns. Before we get going, I'd like to request just a moment or two of silence as we think about all those folks who died down in DC last night in a very tragic way. Thank you. Let's see. Before we get going, I will take out my reading glasses. So I want to read a little bit about how this meeting is going to go. I read the same thing every month. So meeting procedures. Each public hearing will be opened in turn. The applicant will present their case, the board will question, and then the hearing will be open to the public for comment. Once everyone who wishes to be heard has been, that public hearing will be closed. Once the public hearing has been closed, there cannot be any additional input allowed. The board will immediately deliberate on that application before opening another public hearing on any additional applications. There could be times where applications that are so interrelated, the chair may decide to hear them simultaneously, but each will be deliberated separately. All motions regarding relief will be made in the affirmative to grant form for clarity and consistency. The format of the motion should not be considered indicative of how any member, including the maker of the motion or the second to the motion, might vote. Written notices of decision will be sent to the applicant and made available for public viewing within 5 business days. Per the New Hampshire RSAs, if any party of standing feels that the board has erred in their decision, they have 30 days to request for a rehearing. No permits will be issued within this 30-day period. The board reserves the right to continue their deliberations on any matter if they feel they need to consult with legal counsel. All decisions will be made in accordance with New Hampshire RSAs. And this is a key thing tonight. Less than a 5-member board. The New Hampshire RSA's laws require that any motion for relief can only be granted by a favorable vote of at least 3 members of the board, as opposed to a simple majority of the members present at any meeting. Therefore, when there is less than a full board of 5 voting members present, the applicant's chances of approval could be considered diminished. When there are less than 5 voting members present, the applicant has the right to continue their application to the next available meeting in hopes that there will be 5 voting members available to hear their application. If any applicant decides to proceed with less than 5-member board, they do so at their own peril. If an applicant moves forward and does not prevail in their request for relief, the lack of a 5-member board will not be considered as grounds to request a rehearing. Okay. So let's take a look at the minutes we have from the January 2nd meeting, or Christmas meeting. Do we have a motion on the minutes?
Yeah, I move that we accept the meeting minutes of the January 2nd, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Thank you so much. Any discussion before we vote?
No.
Okay. Dee, would you call the roll?
Peter Belo,
Yes.
Jim Unger,
Yes.
Michael Murray,
Yes.
Jim O'Brien.
Yes.
Your vote is 4-0-0.
Okay. With that out of the way, and I have to say this on camera, the audio in here is awesome tonight. Frank, you done well. Usually the speakers aren't on. And okay, Dee, would you call the first hearing?
Case number 25-01, a request from Alessandro Lamagno for a variance from Article 8, Section 22057C to allow an accessory dwelling unit to have 1,200 square feet of living space where 1,000 square feet is the maximum allowed. The property is located at 5 Sunview Park, tax map 44, lot 71 in the MDR zoning district. The applicant is the property owner of record.
Awesome. Is anybody speaking in favor of this tonight? If so, please come up to the seats up in front. And I ask you to speak closely to the microphone. While the speakers are awesome, the microphones aren't terribly sensitive.
Thank you. So, good evening. I'm Bob Drew. I'm the architect working with Alex on this project.
Oh, you're going to need to give me that name again.
Oh, Bob Drew.
DRUW?
Yep. Pretty simple.
A business name?
Bob Drew, architect. Again, very simple.
Just asking.
No, I appreciate you asking. This,
First, I need to have you state affirmatively for the record that you're going forward with the understanding that there's only a 4-member board and you're going to have to get at least 3 of them to vote yes.
go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. We understand it's rolling the dice here a little bit,
Yep,
but
frankly, it's a mixed bag. Some people continue, some people go on. It's,
Yeah.
I can't predict it.
yeah, no, we understand. Totally
I'm
understand.
sure if
Thank
it
you.
was something major, it would be different.
Well, to the applicant, everything's major.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No, I'm talking about on our part.
Yeah, okay.
So, thanks for hearing us tonight. So this is a project where it's going to be an in-law apartment. We're asking for dimensional relief of an extra 200 square feet above what you typically require for an in-law apartment. So it's 1,200 square feet. The reason why we're doing this, well, let me explain where the addition is. The addition is at the back of the house. What you see, can I put here? This is the existing garage. So the addition is kind of towards on the back of the garage. You don't really see this. You won't really see this addition when it's all said and done. You won't see the addition from the front of the street. The house is kind of tall and
It's all in my backyard.
It's all in the backyard. The backyard's pretty sizable, so it can take the addition. It's not like we're shoehorning something in there.
I got the whole acre back there.
That's right. It's seasonal. It's really sizable. So it's not like if maybe the neighbors directly to the left and right might see the back of the addition, but all the details are going to match in kind. So it's not going to be like stick out like a sore thumb.
Mr. Drew, can I ask you to speak just a little bit slower?
Sorry.
Just a little bit.
Sorry, guys. So it's if you're on the left side neighbor and the right side neighbor, you're gonna see the addition, but the details and the colors and the trim and all that are all going to kind of match in kind to what's existing house. So the footprint's going to be, we're asking for the footprint to be a little bigger. As you see, the reason why is you see there's a second bedroom in the in-law apartment. That is because this is for Alex's mom. She has custody of a small child, which she's taking care of. That's why they asked for the extra elbow room, for the extra bedroom. Unfortunately, the young child has a handicap, so she's taking care of him. Alex's mom is also going to have a little bit of a knee surgery, so that's why they're doing this project, so she can be close to Alex. And it's kind of like you always explain the hardship. Why are we coming in front of you guys? And he asked, and then the reason why is because the mother's going to move closer to Alex. She's taking care of a young child, so it's kind of a health and close knit family ask. And so it's pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of you see right here. There's a little bit of an airlock. This door here is a typical man door that's there now. So if the driveway is over here. So typically what happens is a fence right here. Whoever parks in the driveway kind of goes through this man door anyway. So this is kind of a little bit of an airlock that separates the addition from the house a little bit. And also make sure we keep the bedroom windows that's on the second floor there.
That's a laundry room as well, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a community laundry room. And there's a little bit of stairs to the basement underneath. Perfect world, that'll be a full basement, but there's some ledge on site, so more likely might be just a simple crawl space back down there. Typically, I don't like doing additions on a slab because it feels weird, you know, and it's good for mechanicals having a crawl space underneath. If we can do it, I always believe if you're already going down 4 feet for a crawl space, if you can go down another 4 feet and you have something for storage, hey, why not? That's really for the community, for the whole house, because there's not much basement on the main house as it is. Sorry to speak quickly, but I always believe keep this short and sweet. But that's it in a nutshell. It's really just asking extra square footage for that extra bedroom for a close knit family. That's what we're asking.
So I guess I have a couple quick questions.
Go ahead.
I'm not seeing that you're looking for 200 feet extra, square feet extra. I'm seeing 400 square feet because that laundry room is accessible from the ADU.
True. I always figured that was be like a community space, like a common area.
Split the difference, call it 300.
300. Okay, I got
300
you.
then.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
Technically, it's part of the addition.
Yes, it is. And frankly, I'm really impressed with the layout. I got to tell you. But it's not just the second bedroom that is the square footage issue. It's a second bathroom and the small sewing room.
Yep.
And maybe even part of the dining room. I mean, I'm looking at that dining area, and I'm seeing space for 8 people at the dining room table, and then there's a kitchen table with another 2 right next to it.
Oh yeah, I understood. I understood. It's a big family, and she's going to do most of the cooking too. So it's a close knit family, and the mother is the cook. So
I'm envious. I do most of the cooking in my family.
I don't cook. So
I'm trying to get them out of Mass too. We're selling their house in Mass. We're first-time residents in New Hampshire, so we're trying to get out of Mass and come all into New Hampshire.
Sure.
no, that's a great question that you asked.
I guess, just so there's no inconsistencies in a building permit, don't we have to decide the exact square footage they're looking for?
Yes. Yes, or that we're granting
Right.
or not, right?
Right.
So,
Because right now, that footprint would be 1,428 square feet.
right.
versus
That's it
12.
for deliberations, kind of.
Yeah.
So, have you worked, have you gone before ZBA in New Hampshire before?
Mostly Mass.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because the comments you made about the hardship.
Yep.
The only hardship we can look at is a hardship in the land.
Oh, understood. Understood.
Right.
Yeah,
Mass
So-
is different.
yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So in the sense that I can't put anything on this lot because there's wetlands in the back, so we need a variance to be able to get closer to the wetlands.
Understood.
Or it's an odd shaped lot or something like that.
I gotcha.
Um,
I always say the reason why we're in front of you.
Sure.
Understood. It's not a golf simulator we're putting back there.
There is a difference in Mass. I used to do this in Mass,
Yeah.
and people would, exactly that, like a family hardship.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to consider that.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Understood.
and
Thank you for
it's
saying
just written in the state laws.
that.
Um,
I've done Methuen, Concord, Groton, like mostly Mass.
Mass,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of different ball of wax. Yeah. I understood. But 1 story, it's going to be framed with trusses. Keep it simple. Keep it simple construction. 2x6 wall. Up going to be all the energy codes.
That's between you and the building inspector.
Oh yeah. I'm just
You know.
saying we're not doing anything in the attic. That's going to be like, it might be like a hatch up there. You throw your suitcases up there or something like that. We're
Sure.
not gonna put someone out there.
And it is a nice large lot.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah, it's the biggest one on the road, I believe.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I fenced it all in.
I'm sorry?
I fenced it all in. A lot of fence.
Sure. Okay, I think we need to go through the variance criteria that's on page 4. I'd like you folks to kind of go through them. And again, the way the RSAs are structured, it's not like meeting a majority of the criteria. It's all of the criteria.
Yep. Understood.
Okay, so
So page 4 of the application we gave you. So that's, Article 8, Section 220-57. State the reason for this variance. So we go through line by line, is what you're asking?
Well, actually, just start at the criteria, all sections
Yep.
must be completed.
Oh, sure.
We know, because we know what you're requesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gotcha. The proposed variance will not be contrary to the public interest because the addition is behind the existing garage and is not imposing and not directly noticeable from the street. The lot size is fairly sizable compared to the neighboring houses, and the addition in the existing house will not feel like a tight fit. The spirit and intent of the ordinance is preserved because all the other requirements noted in 220-57 have been met. The only change would be the square footage allowance. When I was going through the zoning bylaws, there's like, a handful of things criteria we have to meet.
Yep.
The only thing was the square footage that I saw when I went through the zoning bylaws. So that's the spirit. There is a substantial justice in granting the variance because, note, any loss to the individual that is not outweighed by a gain to the general public is an injustice. The request for the increase in size will not be as noticeable due to the location of the addition. The size of the lot can accept the addition and will not conflict with any zoning setbacks. When this project first started, I made sure what zoning setbacks are. We were we're not, it's a sizable lot. We're not really
You're nowhere near.
Nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much probably rare for you guys, but it's, we were,
We see all kinds of things.
yeah. MASH, it's usually its own setbacks. The value of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because, as mentioned, you cannot see the addition directly from the street, and the size lot is larger than the neighboring homes per noted above. If you zoom out, if you see like the overall site, like street, a lot of the lots on that side are much smaller. I think on the other side, I forget it's north or south or towards the backyard of Alex's property. I think it's a commercial property. I think it's pretty sizable back there. Values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because you cannot see the addition directly from the street, and the size lots is large. Oh, I just said that. Excuse me. Number 5, literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance will result in an unnecessary hardship. No fair and substantial hardship exists between the general purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because the 200 square foot increase in size will not make the addition larger than the primary residence. As mentioned, the lot size is sizable and can accept the addition. The main house is is bigger than 12 or 1,400 square feet. It's not like we have this tiny house with this giant addition off to the side. So it's not like we're not more than doubling the size of the house.
And we've seen those.
Yeah, I see those a lot, and they typically don't look that great. And in B, the proposed use is reasonable because the addition is for the owner's parents along with a small child, as I said before. It's for 3 people, not 2. But that's page 4 in a nutshell.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
It's pretty straightforward.
Thank you for listening to us, too.
We're not done yet.
No, I'm sorry.
Dee, do we have any emails or letters?
No.
Either way?
Neither.
Is there anyone out there in the audience speaking in favor of this?
I'm the mother.
Okay. All right. I have to ask. So that would also mean there's nobody speaking against this.
No.
Okay. No final questions, folks, before I call this hearing to a close? Any final comments from you folks?
No, it's a pretty straightforward project. It's always good to get the family close-knit together. So it's the reason why Alex is doing this. So thank you for hearing us.
Okay, well, with that, I get to use this. I call this hearing to a close. So you can go back to your seats. You're welcome to stay and hear how it goes, but I just can't take any more testimony.
Okay, I got you. So we just hear.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Or you could go home and watch it on TV. But okay.
You may be done by the time you get home.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I wasn't going to say it. It sounded too smart-ass-like, so. And I have that habit.
No, but you guys have followed your deliberations, so probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Would somebody make a motion?
I move to grant the request for a variance from Article 8, Table 220-57.c to allow a 1,200 square foot accessory building unit to be constructed where 1,000 square feet is the maximum allowed, with the following conditions. The applicant must meet all other requirements of Article 8 accessory dwelling units.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Before we really get deep into deliberations, do we want to consider this a 1,200 or 1,200 feet addition or ADU? Or should we consider it a larger number? In other words, are there any friendly amendments out there?
I just have to point out for the board that you could go smaller with an amendment. You can't go larger because of the way the legal noticing works.
Oh, well, then never you mind. Okay.
I guess, how do we consider something that's being built as part of this project, not part of the project?
I have some difficulty with that as well.
If it was just like an enclosed porch, just like you see a deck, that's just an accessory. But if it's enclosed, it's heated, it's a laundry area, it's a mudroom, it's part of the addition.
I'm wondering, again, this is really not for this hearing, but I'm wondering if they had actually put that laundry room on as a separate building permit and then build next to it, if that would make a difference. Build the ADU next to it. But, we can't do that.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
I agree, this is a nice project, and I like the layout. But I'm having a hard time with the unnecessary hardship criteria. And if you guys have,
There's really no hardship on the land that would make you have to go bigger.
correct.
So, I mean, like you explained, if they had to move over for a swamp or something, that's a hardship on the property. And unfortunately, we're only allowed to deal with hardships on the land. It is different.
Michael or Jim, you guys have any thoughts? Any way get beyond this conundrum?
I mean, it looks to me like it's a reasonable plan for, expansion for the family. And Lord knows we need more room, for the people here in town. So I have no objections to, this motion.
Does the existing septic system pose anything that can work its way into the hardship where that is going to be abandoned and a new one installed?
No, not really.
I think they usually require that.
Yeah, the building inspector is going to have to take a look at the existing septic or any proposed septic, and the state would have to take a look at it as well, but it's not really,
One
for
of the
us.
requirements of the ADU is that they have to get approval of a contingency system so that if this one were to fail, an adequate system for the consideration of the ADU would have to be included.
And, looking at just the plot plan of the property, they've got a ton of area to put, if they had to put a new septic in.
I thought I saw a septic plan here.
There is.
Yeah. This is,
Oh, yeah.
You can't,
this is a septic plan right here.
Oh, okay.
Because when you add bedrooms, it increases what you need for a septic system. So they had to design a new septic system for the added bedrooms.
Okay?
Right, but it does not have to go in the ground unless and until the existing one fails.
Right. So if you had, assuming this house is 3-bedroom, if you want to put a 2-bedroom ADU onto it, if you think you got lucky, you could just go with the existing septic system. But if or when it fails, then you have to be able to say where you could put a new leach field. Anything else, folks?
Yeah, I agree with all the first 4 points there. I totally agree with. It's the hardship part that is hard to get around. Hardship on the property, that is.
Yeah.
Hardship on the family, I understand completely.
Are we ready to vote?
Would you like to go through the variance criteria?
Yeah, okay. We can do that. It's not contrary to the public interest, because this isn't imposing, it's behind an existing garage and in a fenced-in area. Not really see it well from the street. Spirit and intent of the ordinance is preserved. The spirit of the ordinance is to keep ADUs down to a certain size, to a certain square footage, and this violates that. So by 20+%. I don't know. I'm a little ambivalent on that. There's substantial justice in granting the variance. Really, the increased size won't affect anybody else.
No.
And the neighborhood has no net gain by us not approving this. So I kind of agree with him on that. Values of surrounding properties won't be diminished. I can't see that happening. We'll come down to 5. Literal enforcement of the provision of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. No fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to this property. Well, there is a relationship between the ordinance and this request. And really, it's going larger. For me, again, everybody has their own vote. But for me, I have a very hard time with this.
And the other thing that I'm still struggling with is we keep voting on 200 square feet, but we've not decided if it's going to be 200 square feet or 1,428 square feet.
Well, and that's,
So
if we vote on the 1,200 square feet, if we vote in favor, then that's what they get. Not
well, are you voting on that plan or are you voting on square footage?
voting on square footage.
Right. Okay. Which means that plan doesn't work.
Correct. Yeah, as proposed to us, that plan does not work. Anything else, folks? You ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. D, what do you call it?
Jim Unger,
No?
Michael Murray,
Yes.
Jim O'Brien,
Yes.
Peter Belo.
No.
Your vote is 2-0, and the motion does not pass.
This is the toughest one I've had in 2 years. guys. I hope you can take some of our comments and all and make this thing work. Just, not really, but I would encourage you not tomorrow, because town hall is closed tomorrow, to ask Ms. Voss. You feel free to reach out to her with questions, or the building inspector.
He's only doing residential inspections now, so I would be the best resource.
Oh, then D is it. And if, can I tell them where you live?
No, you can tell him where I work.
That's what I meant.
She lives in
Mr.
that.
Lamagno knows
Right
where I
there.
am.
In there. So, at the end of the day, we don't like saying no to reasonable proposals. And if there's some way to make this happen, please make it happen. All right. Dee, do we have anything else tonight?
I spoke with Mr. Unger. His term is up at the end of March, and I asked him if he'd like to continue on, and he said that he would. So I've drafted a letter for the Board of Selectmen to just request his renewal of his appointment. And if the board's all good with it, I have a non-stamped watermarked copy over here that Mr. Belo can sign for me.
Okay.
But you'd need to make a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen to renew Mr. Unger for another 3-year term, please.
You want to listen to him blather on for another 3 years? That's my only question. Somebody make a motion.
We all talk so much.
Make a motion to accept the submittal, recommend to the Board of Selectmen to approve the reappoint Mr. Unger for another session, another 3-year session.
And I'll second that. Any discussion or just go to a vote?
Second,
Too late, I already did. Dee, let's call the roll.
Michael Murray,
yes.
Jim O'Brien,
Yes.
Peter Belo,
Yes.
Jim Unger.
I'll abstain.
The vote is 3-0-1, and the motion passes.
All right.
Also would like to remind everybody that deliberative session is this Saturday, 9 o'clock, right here in this room. So come on in, come on out, and participate in the process.
I'm so looking forward to that. Actually, I probably can't make it. I'm babysitting. So, which is something I haven't done in.
Would you like to call the meeting to a close then?
Yeah, let's call this meeting to a close. Frank, you can turn us off
I have the time is 7:03.
at the time of 7:03.